All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Opswing here. This is going to be your sit rep for Friday, 1 p.m. Central Time, coming to you from the great state of Texas. It's going to be October 29th, 2021. And so without further ado, let me hop on over here. Just make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notifications so you get the latest as things happen. So we're going to kick off today over in SkyGlass. You guys know this is my favorite new tool, and so still learning how to use it, and so I will dabble with it until I get a little better, but I always find little tidbits that are very interesting. And so today I'm looking, and I just as I pulled it up, I just wanted to show you guys we've got 9 or 10 aircraft in-flight emergency squawks right now. You can see these little red dots kind of clicking around the map here. As you can see them, they kind of flash like stop signs here. But these are all just general in-flight emergencies. Reserved, I'm not sure what that is. The Nordo is going to be a no radio. Okay, if you spell it out, got a couple no radios. Now, I'm not sure if these are tied to the solar thing going on, and we got some radios getting knocked out or whatever it may be. I don't know. I know it can affect a lot of things here on the planet, and so tomorrow is actually when we're supposed to get this. The CME hit around noon, I think, Eastern time or so. But anyway, just thought I'd point that out. The pink across this is going to be, those are going to be aircraft that do not want to be tracked. Okay, so kind of like our block, they could be blocked as well, but for the most part, these are just guys that don't want to be seen. And so they keep you, these are private owners, things like that. So Trump would be one of these, right? He'd be a pink flyer. So, oh man, that didn't sound right, did it? All right. So, hey, let me click this back down just to mill only and hit a refresh on this. And then we'll clear our screen in terms of the emergencies. And then we're going to go ahead and pop over now while this thing's kind of marinating. Let me see, get a fresh ride here. Okay, so clear that emergency screen, and that is just straight up military only, showing just under 300 up right now across the United States. And we'll get in a little closer. I'm going to break out, get over here and make the flat earthers happy as we look at this just straight up from the top ADSB exchange and see what we got going on here. Now we're sitting, according to this, 276 aircraft up. And this is, I just want to filter it because one of the things I did notice earlier, it looked like we had a whole bunch of H-60s up here in the Northeast. I'm going to let that marinate for a minute, and we're going to come back to it. In the meantime, we're going to head over to our topics, things of interest that we're going to look at. Now, I will tell you, we'll get to this in a second. So let's get over to the misery map. It is windy as ever here in Texas. We had a cold front blow through. It's nice and cool. Definitely feeling a lot more comfortable, especially if you're in the studio today. I think it's about 68 degrees in here right now, which is really nice. So, but this is going to be your misery map, and this is what's kind of going on. You can see there's some pretty steady delays across the U.S. Not too bad for a Friday, but you got all this weather moving through. And so that is where we're going to stand with that. Now, I want to show you a couple of the flights that we have out there flying around that are actually, let me bump over, as I guess you could just call them flight of interest. This is going to be Snoop 44. It's currently en route. Looks like it is headed. This is actually an RC 135. It looks like it's on the descent now into the Vegas area, or there's Reno. Sorry, it's not Vegas. It's into Nevada, but looks like he's descending. We'll see if the other one goes the same way. I was waiting to see if they were going to be doing some routes like they typically do, but they did not. So there's one. This is going to be Top Cat, which is another one. All right, now he is starting to do some routes. So this is what we're kind of looking for. Looks like the other one went over here to Reno, or east of Reno. But that one is running routes right now. Currently, that is National Forest down here. And so, anyway, doing what they normally do. Those are spy birds. Okay, so our 135 is it's definitely doing some routes and some spying like they always do. All right. Okay, flight radar. Just want to point this out real fast. These are going to be our active volcanoes that are kind of spewing at the moment. We've got 3 on this side. We did have a Papua New Guinea. That one has since kind of fizzled out a little bit. But these are pretty big ash producers. You kind of get into this one, you can see that is a hefty ash cloud right there. That's out of Russia. And then let me closer. And then we got 3 up here in this area. And then we've got 4 more here, 7, 8. We actually had 11 when I started out this morning, so it's actually dropped off just a tad. Typically, when we do see this CME that comes through, coronal mass ejections, those are basically we do see an uptick in either earthquakes and volcanic activity. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the weekend these things really start to flare up a little bit. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is over on the Watcher site. This is actually, there's a G3, it's a geomagnetic storm watch in effect for October 30th, which is tomorrow. I think it hits around 1 p.m. Eastern time. We've been seeing these a lot more frequently lately, but this is kind of, the way it looks. You can see that ejection coming out on this side. Now, these are earth-facing ejections, and so we typically get blasted. There's kind of a different look at it. You can see that thing explode. It's pretty remarkable. And then here's another one. You can see bust out. Those are right there. You can see, but that's plasma just blasting. That's headed our way. And so that's, I think, the big thing that's coming our way is the plasma piece. So again, this is definitely not my area. Protons, sorry, not plasma. There you go. You see it. Like a water vapor almost, but it's a proton flux. So pretty interesting. But this is not my specialty, so I'm just throwing that out there. It does impact aviation, and that's the only reason I'm showing it. And so something to think about because it impacts the volcanoes and everything else. So very interesting. But this is over on the Watchers. They actually have this up quite a bit. You can get a lot of cool stuff off of this site from a news perspective on what's going on around the world. I use it a lot for my Monkey Minute. Okay, now let's get over here to Flashbang. He is actually at the Vatican. I can only imagine why. Halloween this Sunday. The timing is definitely seems very suspicious, but if you know what I'm talking about without me saying it. Okay, so this is pretty interesting though. But anyway, he is looks like he is meeting there, and then he's going to be hanging out in Rome, and then of course, what is this here? You got Emmanuel Macron rolling through also at 10:15. So this is a guy I constantly keep my eyes on. Something about him, I don't know what it is, but keep my eyes on him. But that is today. I don't know how long they're actually in town, but it looks like they got a little soiree pulled together. And so there is that. Now, if we get over here to TFRs and see what we got going on, there's not too much US-wise that is new. We do have our standing, these are standing security TFRs here in Texas. That is tied to some type of a sporting event. And then this one up north is an air show. Now, the one that catches my eye, we do have these. These are still security VIP right here near Norfolk, Virginia. I don't know what that's tied to. That's probably going to be Bob Marley rolling into there. But this one over Florida, you know what? I don't know what it is. It's besides being security. Now, I did see Newsmax yesterday was talking about them being a big, I guess they had a mandate protest going on out at Kennedy Space Center. They got a lot of people walking. I'm telling you, folks, this is about to be the perfect storm. It's not going to be good. Got a lot of military folks leaving too, and so this is going to leave a massive gap. It's going to jack unemployment, but it's also going to take critical people out of the workforce because a lot of the folks that aren't taking that are people that are very well versed and been at a company for a long period of time, and so pretty crazy. But looks like this one's an air show just south of that down in Stuart, Florida. Okay, all right, so we'll continue to watch that. And keep our ear to the ground and see what that is all about. All right. Okay. Now, this is going to get your blood boiling as I get into, we're going to show you what's going on at the bases. But check this out. if you haven't seen this, this came across my news feed the other day, and I was reading it. I'm thinking, holy moly. You want to talk about getting people riled up. This one right here, I think. So there's a report that the Flashbang administration is considering paying border crossers 450,000 big ones each in reparations. And so you can imagine that's in the billions of dollars. 2 million people. That right there is an insult to all of us that are paying taxes. Let me tell you, because there's a lot of folks that are struggling out there. If they do that, I'm telling you, man, this will burn this place to the ground, man. This is this is insane, absolutely insane. I don't know how you even take that and not get just completely irate over that, right? This would be, I think that right there would push everybody over the edge, because there are families out there that are busting their humps to feed, put bread on food on the table, and you got people coming across illegally into our country, and they give them $450,000 each. Ooh, telling you that may be the catalyst that sends us over. Okay. All right. Now here it is. This is going to be Biggs Army Airfield. And right now, everything looks very kind of chill. I will say, it looks to me like what they're doing is bringing planes in on Thursday. They're parking them overnight, and then the next day they're departing. So we do still have our this is Sun Country that's rolling out to Joint Base Andrews. But then here's another one, 777-200. It's rolling out to Fort Hood, which is it's interesting. So it looks like that's one of our U.S. Transportation Command birds. I don't know if they're putting people at Fort Hood now, which would not surprise me in the least. That may be a new location we need to start watching. So keep an eye on that. We already know they've added Hunter to the next. It seems like they're converting a lot of our military installations, and I mean a lot. There's probably at least 10 of them out there right now where they're actually housing illegals at these military installations, which just blows me away. Blows me away. I don't know how they do it and get away with it. But let's see. So for Thursday, yeah, that one was inbound. So there's that little U.S. Transportation Command camber that came in. So yeah, it looks like they're coming in a day early and then leaving the following day. So more than likely they're bringing folks in. They're offloading them, cleaning the planes, doing all the other stuff, and then they're putting new people on the next day, not trying to do a quick turn the same day. So, okay. So speaking of the U.S. Transportation Command, this is one of the flights. Actually, we got two of them. It looks like one is rolling out of Baltimore, Washington. That's going to be a 777-200. I don't know where that is headed. And then we got another one. It looks like it's coming in from France, I think. Is that Maron de la Frontera? That I'm not really positive, but you can see. Interesting thing, not showing. That'd be one of your pink birds. Not showing on here at all, but it is inbound, and of course, destination unknown in true transparency fashion. Okay. All right, over here to Holloman. This is going to be the Air Force Base that's out in the middle of New Mexico, out there near White Sands. Now, just to take a look at what we've got on here right now, the board looks completely clear. I will tell you, I had some stuff on there earlier. I don't see it on there anymore. We do see this one that came in the other day. We talked about on Wednesday. That was already there. Let me just look at see if there's anything else. They wiped the board on me again. All right. And arrivals. Yeah, they have completely. Let me just double check on departures. So that was yesterday. So we did have one flight go out yesterday to Orlando. So it looks like they relocated some poppies down to O-Town. Nothing like, probably gave them Disney tickets too to boot, right? Okay, there is that. So it looks like Holloman, they're clearing the board, and it looks like they are, it's leveled out, mellowed out a little bit. Okay. All right, now let's get over to Hunter. I will tell you, I did see a Southwest Airlines. There it is right there, that rolled in from Valley International. So that tells me they could very well be coming out of Valley. That is down on the border, down That is going to be down by Brownsville, down in the bottom right corner of Texas, which tells me they are now taking not just poppies over there to Hunter. They are taking it's either going to be coconuts or bananas. So I'm not really sure coming out of that general area, but it looks like we are now starting to rehome some folks over there as well. So that's interesting that thing came into Valley. Now let's see where we got it on the board out here for departures. Very, very interesting. All right, I'm not seeing the departure on here. I just see the arrival. So let's dig in a little more, see if we got anything on schedule. Very interesting. Not seeing it. So came in, but we don't see it go out. So not on the board anywhere. Okay. Well, there you have it. But that's going to be Hunter. That's in Savannah, Georgia. And that's a Southwest Airlines flight coming out of just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Brownsville, Texas. So there you have it. Southwest getting in on the mix. All right, now this is going to be Laughlin and Del Rio. This is one of our watch places because we do know we've got things showing up here pretty soon. This is going to be your Swift Air flights. This was an arrival, came in from San Antonio, and then it looks like it took a flight and went to Alexandria, which is our 72-hour holding facility. Same bird, okay? Nothing on the schedule, right? Okay, so what it looks like is we still have people being rehomed. It looks like we're pushing them not just through our military bases in and out, but as you guys saw, we did Nino Rodriguez yesterday. He had a video we were showing that actually 2 days ago now, that basically El Paso Airport was just packed full of poppies being flown to places. So those are ones we don't have eyes on. Really hard to tell what planes are getting on, other than that was an American Airlines gate, it looked like. But once they get into that commercial system, it's really hard to track unless you're actually at the airport, okay? Because the board is just chock full of flight, okay? So there is that. All right. And let's go here. Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And let's see what we got going on. Now, this is Friday. We usually get this 301 AZ or one like it coming inbound. That's a Tuesday, Friday flight. This one from Norfolk, a 67300. That is also a Friday flight. Usually that's going to bring in cargo. And then this is your Uber that's coming in from Jacksonville, which picks up your Legal Eagles back and forth throughout the week. Now, what we do have here is over here, we'll notice the departures looks a little different than the arrivals. And then we got scheduled departures. So these all kind of mash up. This one here, this was inbound coming from Hartsfield. That's going to be coming out of ATL. That's a Delta airline flight that looks to be picking folks up and headed back to Joint Base Andrews. Now, I'm going to show you the calendar here in a second. And this is that G4 that came in earlier in the week and went back over to Lauderdale. It looks like it is back. Landed, I think, yesterday and is going to be rolling out today. About 5:42 p.m. headed back up to the Brown Zone. Okay, so now if we get over here to the calendar, you guys can see this is all. There's a hearing going on for Shaka Khan, and so that is taking place now. Let me see if it goes into November or if this is a wrap up, and those flights would just be pulling people exfilling. Nope, November is chock full all the way till the 19th. So we're going to probably see an uptick in these flights coming in and out of the Brown Zone. Now, if you look at the topics that's going on here, this is kind of interesting. I pulled this off of Al Jazeera. But this is in a first Guantanamo detainee details the CIA torture in court. So that's what's going on this week. It looks like hopefully the media is getting a good coverage on this one. But just something that we've talked about in the past. You've heard me talk about these rendition flights, which are basically what they call torture flights. That used to take place. I'm sure they still take place now. We just don't hear about them. But this is what he's talking about here. Basically, he has details behind being waterboarded, sexually and physically assaulted at CIA black sites during his sentencing hearing. So this, we talk about these right here. We've talked about locations that we believe they are And so that's our agency at work, folks. All right. Now, let me get over here to, and don't get me wrong either. I will say if they're bad guys, then, I support that. I don't have any problem with it if they're bad guys. But if they're not bad guys, that's not good, right? Because that could be any one of us, all right? Okay, now let's get over here to some of the birds that we talk about, Guantanamo Bay. This is actually N301AZ. This is the one we saw actually come in 4 hours, 8 minutes ago. It is already rolled in and out. But you can see that's just basically, the screen is messing up here, doing some round robin. But it was up in West Hampton on Tuesday earlier this week. And so now it just looks like it's going back and forth to the spa. All right, now this is going to be N183PA. It's one of your gray birds. I just want to point this one out because it's in Germany. It came out of Ramstein over to Stuttgart yesterday. This is the bird that we see kind of hopping down. This thing's been into Israel in the last several days. We see it down in Africa. Again, agency bird. And then this is going to be your Maxwell bird, the N312FU. And that one looks like it just jockeyed out from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport and back. So that was probably a test top if I had to guess. Okay. Not very often do they just do kind of it's a flight check, really. Nothing else really would explain that. So, all right. So now let's get over here to the Department of No Justice. It's going to be N721AL. They have been on the move. Landed about 18 hours ago. They went from Manassas back and forth. So you can see them, Reagan National over to Manassas. But they were up in New York. I don't know what they were doing in New York. But I will tell you, you do have, a lot of stuff been going on up there lately. So I don't know exactly what it is. Just keep our ears to the ground. But who knows? Maybe we'll see something from Durham here soon. Okay. Now, over to their partners in crime here. This is going to be Homeland Security, C101. Now, this bird right here, just so you guys know, it's a little Gulf Stream. So I can get a picture of it. There you go. But it's flown under the guise of a Coast Guard bird. Okay, so that's who they utilize. It's a beautiful aircraft. But this is who Department of Homeland Security uses. All right, this is their bird. You got the director and probably a deputy director that fly this as well as staff. Okay. One thing I find interesting with this, can't figure it out. I've had people talk to me, give me some fantastic ideas of what it could be, but I don't know that it is. Okay. This thing somehow, this is a helo. This is not a Gulfstream out here doing these loops. All right. But I just want to show you. This is a lake. This is a point that's out on the lake. Now, one of the first things that somebody had mentioned, and I thought, man, it sounds logical, but it doesn't really fit because of this aircraft, is the fact that they use helicopters that scoop up water and they go and fight fires in general area. But then I've had people come back and say, well, there weren't any really fires nearby there. And, then you kind of get over here to this other side where there's more loops. There's really not much. I mean, it's over land. There could be some fires over here. I don't know. But that's not really, it doesn't really fit with Homeland Security doing that. They're up to something here, and I don't know what it is. Can't put my thumb on it. But again, that's not a Gulfstream, but that's a helo that's flying right there. You can tell by the, you're not going to get a Gulfstream jet doing this, right? And so that's that. They changed this out to a helo. So this guy comes out, they put him into this, and kind of like Air Force One, if you think about it, when a president gets on an airplane, that airplane becomes Air Force One, regardless of what it is. So whether it's a helicopter, well, a Marine one, I guess, but whether it's a C-17, whatever it may be, it goes by the call sign Air Force One because of who is on it. And so this kind of falls in that same realm. C-101 is going to just stick with the guy that's on that, all right? So what they're doing, I have no idea. This is out near Sacramento, California. And there is a security TFR just north of that right there, okay? All right. Let me get over here to the partner in crime on that one. It's going to be C-202. Now, this is the one we saw. We caught it out there in Spain when McCaffrey bit the bullet. And so This one just flew down today. It's actually landed 2 hours, 26 minutes ago down to Miami. And that is actually Miami International, not Opelika. But they're down there in Miami right now. No telling what they're up to. But yesterday it was up in Canada, went back to D.C., then D.C. down to Miami. So there you have that. And you can see on Thursday it actually was over here in Spain as well. Okay. All right. That is going to do those. And let me back up over here to our other board and see. Yeah, actually, the H60. This is what you typically would get. There's 11 up, 2 of them on ground. So like I said, typical H60 activity is going to be 6 to 8. So we'll watch it this evening and over tomorrow and going into Halloween and see if we get an uptick in H60s. But there is that. Now, if we get over here to Spain and Italy and Europe, let's see if we got anything. I don't think we'll have anything flying, and to be honest with you right now. You've got Flashbang is over here. We've got a couple C-17 reaches. Look like they're running out of, that's coming out of like Luxembourg. And then these down here, these are going to be, what is this one here? United Kingdom. It's going to be your high wing aircraft. And more than likely, these are just the normal stuff. We kind of see them over there running in and out of Qatar and UAE on a pretty regular basis. So doesn't look like it's too active over there at the moment. All right. Let's see who this is off the coast of Africa. United Kingdom. Looks like they're headed inbound to the continent. All right. And then down here in this area, we typically have been seeing in this area, which is kind of interesting. Yesterday, we had another R-135 that was down there that flew kind of straight down this time. Typically, we have seen them come up and down the coast. So they're doing some spycraft stuff down here in Colombia. I don't know if it's due to the folks that are down there that are getting ready to make their way up through pilgrimage, and they're worried about Al-Qaeda and ISIS-K and all the other stuff. I think that is an active threat that they are worried about and concerned about. So to see an R-135 come down here was interesting. We also have had several of the magma birds, which are the spec ops birds, the Dornier, was it 328s, right? So we've been seeing those as well down there in just recent days. So they were there yesterday, several of them. So, okay, just seeing if we got any of those. I don't see any of those up, so we're good. Okay, well, listen, that is going to be our sit rep for this week. Stay tuned. This is things been getting really kind of interesting in terms of some of these exercises and the surges that we're seeing, and especially when we're coming up on a mandate, because I think it's going to impact us at a critical level. We've got supply chain issues going on, just a lot of moving parts and pieces, and so keep an eye on the sky will kind of give us a pulse on what's really happening. So that's going to do it for our sit reps. So you guys be safe out there. We'll see you on Monday. Stay frosty. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworksus.com.